Alright, so this video, I'm going to show off this helicopter and a few other things, but primarily I'm just going to be talking straight to you, the viewer, about just what's up, what's going on, why I upload so infrequently, kind of where my priorities are with the channel and my content and just other things. I'll talk about that later though. And I'm just kind of be rambling, so just keep that in mind. So, the helicopter that I showed last was version 3 of a airframe I'd been working on for a while. This is version 7 of that airframe. So, electronic changes, the munition state, like which pylons, which hard points are loaded or not, that shows up here instead of on the little lights on the side, I think it was. It's been so long. The control system is the same. Number 8 toggles on and off the rotor assembly independently of static lift. So you can go down directly. It's still got collective. All the standard controls. It has strafing, albeit very weak. Has reverse and forward, just like the last one. One distinction that I'll make with helicopters versus a lot of the helicopters that you see around on YouTube elsewhere is they're not controlled from the rotor assembly. If you see here, I'm mechano-electrically timing the rotor assembly with like timing similar to how you would time a piston engine, but it's actuated. So the actual control authority for the helicopter is coming from the rotor assembly. In my opinion, that's what makes a helicopter in SM a true helicopter. You can call something a helicopter, but I personally don't really think it's a true helicopter unless at least 2 axes of control are coming from the actual rotor assembly that is providing the stabilization. The advantages over doing rotor control are, while the thrust mass efficiency is relatively low, so the percentage of energy that the thruster is providing that's going into moving you, that's relatively inefficient, but the driving factor and the stabilizing force is very high. So you can make very small movements, especially if you one-tick it. So you can do fairly accurate targeting at long range. The next sort of evolution of this was primarily just from structural limitations. It's a very square design. Logic isn't integrated into the frame. There's this massive crew compartment that could be used for other things. Like the doors here, these aren't that good. So that's where this picks up. The massive space in the middle is now a bomb bay, so you can carry much heavier weapons. The pylon set is moved into the side and has a tighter form factor. Let me actually show the difference between this and the other one when it's loaded, because I think that really shows. These points here, you'll see there's a small difference between these two. That one has just a spud gun sense and a logic gate. That one has spud gun sense and a logic gate with this little space. You could attach rocket pods to that. You would wire the gate into the rocket pod, and you could have more rounds that way. It proved less accurate than having these. I'd also like to say this. This is another part of kind of the terminology that has evolved within the technical community. A munition like this that is activated by sensors is a torpedo. One that is activated just from the collision of the bomb is a rocket. In real life, they're technically both rockets, but just within SM, the SM terminology is a torpedo is sensor activated, a rocket is just collision activated, and it's more typical for a torpedo to be protected like this from stray spuds, though it's not the rule. More or less a trend. And let me show you this when this is fully loaded. So, again, slimmer profile. If I try to put these side by side. Slimmer profile and twice as many rounds. Also, the attachment point being very, very much smaller. It's a lot harder for a spud to reach in there and accidentally detach it, whereas this is a large area that's vulnerable to spuds. So that's been a huge improvement. Not only does this have less thrusters than that one, I think that one has, look at, well, it's loaded. It's like 170 or something. This one is 150 empty. And I'll actually demonstrate how stable these are. Yeah. So first weapon mode, kind of volley shot. Second is more focused. It's like anti-personnel. This is the first pylon set. So that would be like that. Aim for this. And the maximum engagement range is 1.2 kilometers for a stationary target. If you're going after a tank, you'd want to get a lot closer. But unless you're like really good at aiming, the maximum engagement range this is really intended for is 1.2 kilometers. It's faster if you saw how I was flying around that one, version 7. It's faster with less thrusters. Sorry, it can turn quicker. It has better stability. I think the strafing is a little bit stronger, but not by much. It also has inverted flight, so you can hold it upside down. That's a fun little party trick. It's got reverse, so you can do a handstand. Not that powerful though. And this is a kind of clever feature. The second to last, the last, I guess, weapon mode is the bomb bay, which automatically opens the doors, and the doors double as a utility claw, which has honestly been fantastic in the field. So you can grab onto things with that, and since it opens the bomb bay, then when you use the fire key, that will activate any connected drop munitions that you have wired in. So great for just picking random objects up if you need to transport a tank or detaching a bomb. You can even carry a vehicle while you have a bomb in there. One other little hidden feature, whoa, didn't see that coming, is when you press the two strafing keys together, it toggles to a low sensitivity mode. You can see it pulls out of the detector there. This is electronically timed, which makes it move even slower. So this is good, again, if for doing longer range engagements. It also has a light on the front. So that's a really quick overview of this. To talk more about why I upload so infrequently, the whole kind of purpose of the channel for me was originally just to document the stuff that I made. However, my position on that has, I would prefer to show finished things like this, like that other helicopter. And the research that I do in my spare time is similarly so. To elaborate on that, what kind of research? Regarding the physics and the math that actually defines the game, you may know Scrap Mechanic doesn't have any aerodynamics. Or, as I would call it, aerogenerics, because the shape doesn't matter. General resistance, as we call it, is mass times the velocity times some constant, and that corresponds directly to the newtons of force that acts against the object. The constant, if you want to know, is literally just the terminal velocity of an object in free fall. If you want to mess with that equation yourself, that's totally fine. But things like that. The math that defined rotational resistance. I would love to introduce that kind of stuff to the community because I think the community needs it. But I don't want to set out to do research and end up with some half-baked information. Let me back up again. Another part of the reason why I don't upload very often is YouTube is not my main focus. I don't, like a lot of the other people that you'll see on YouTube, they probably enjoy making YouTube videos. This is honestly personally just kind of a chore for me, and I just do it just to show people. Me and a team of friends, you probably know Kind Anderer, Ben Bingo, those two people. I work with them pretty closely in a team called SMSCI, or Scrap Science. That is the head of SMTC, or Scrap Mechanic Technical Community. And our goal is to try to bring other nerds together so that Scrap Mechanic has the same kind of scene that Minecraft does for like Redstone, which it doesn't really have that. If you look up piston engine tutorials, you got to dig and dig and dig to find good actually good videos made by people that actually know what they're doing, and it's a real shame. So I've been trying to promote that, and managing it, taking care of it, and just hanging out. That's all a huge time consumer. I'm also in college. I have a job. Those are also time consumers. So often when I have free time, I just want to mess around, and YouTube is very much just kind of a second priority to me, or even a third priority to me. So that's primarily why I don't upload so often. And I do really love to teach people, but I prefer to do it like in person. So if you want to join the server, that's great, you know. Because I would love to tell people, and I'd love to tell people how to make proper flyers that don't depend on springs, that work reliably in low physics. Those are all very doable things that a lot of people just don't even know how to do. Not even just flyers, but piston engines. A lot of people think a piston engine in SM can't go over 300 RPM. They can regularly go way over 300 RPM. Cars, the industry standard here is 100 kilometers an hour. The world record is 560 kilometers an hour in our team. You can learn firsthand from Kind Anderer and Ben Bingo in a VC or in the text channels how to do that. And they're more than happy to answer, you know, questions from anybody. It's not just flyers and mechanics. There are people that specialize in logic. There are people that do mod making. There are even people that do visual design. So I really want to throw that out there, that there's a whole other world to the scrap mechanic community that I'm a part of that isn't YouTube. I can't really think of anything else to talk about off the top of my head. I know this has kind of just been me rambling about stuff, but I think it's better I say it now than never. And I mean, yeah, just if you don't want to join, that's fine, but I still recommend go on the r/Scrap Mechanic Discord server and just ping Kine, ping Ben, just ask them a question. You know, there's no shame in trying to learn how to get better at the game. And we really do want the whole scrap mechanic community to know that it was originally supposed to be an engineering game, a creative engineering game, and we value that. I just want to say that why I'm not uploading so much. Oh, one more thing. One last thing. I am going to try and upload more, but it's going to be much less, I guess, specific stuff. It's going to be much more me just demonstrating things. Like the one I uploaded the other night of me flying around a world very similar to this in my Vertigo Mark III. Much more like that. Pressure engines. Pressure engines have come a long ways. I don't want to talk about them because there are some very strange dynamics that would take a lot of explaining and that we don't completely understand, and I don't want to hand the viewer information that is not completely understood. I don't want to push out information that isn't totally finished. I don't like the idea of just, handing people something that's not baked and saying, here you go. So yeah, that was a huge ramble right there, but yeah, I guess that's just it. So you'll be seeing me more often. I hope I'll be seeing you in our Discord server. Tell everyone that there are professionals or people that are actually very serious about doing quality engineering in the game. And yeah, I guess that'll be all.